Hi, welcome back. Today we are going to discuss about matrix multiplication. So, matrix multiplication is the multiplication of two matrices. This is the first matrix, this is the second matrix. So, first matrix contains two rows and two columns, second matrix contains two rows and three columns. Okay. So, we are going to multiply these two matrices. The procedure is first step is to collect these two matrices, and second step is to do the perform the multiplication process. Here the process is like this: 1 into 5 plus 2 into 8. Okay. So here there is a condition that the number of columns in the first matrix, so how many columns? This is the first column, this is the second column. The number of columns in the first matrix should be equal to the number of rows in the second matrix. Why we are saying like this is, for example, we have more than two columns. Okay, for example, 1 2 3 4. Okay, this is the elements that we have. In addition to that, we have one more columns. For example, 5 and 6. We have one more column is here, but we don't have the elements to multiply here in the second array. So 1 into 5 plus 2 into 8, then 5 into what? That is a question. So this is a logic, simple logic. So the number of columns in the first matrix should be equal to the number of rows in the second column. Then only we can perform this multiplication. Otherwise, the multiplication process we can do. So that is the first and foremost thing that you have to understand. So the number of columns in the first matrix should be equal to the number of rows in the second matrix. So this is a row. 5, 6, 7 is the first row in the second matrix, and 8, 9, 10 is the second row in the second matrix. Okay. So the number of columns in the first row should be equal to the number of rows in the second matrix. The number of columns in the first matrix should be equal to the number of rows in the second matrix. So then only we can perform this operation. So next thing, what should be the resultant matrix? The resultant matrix should be what? Here the number of rows is what? The resultant matrix, you can just cross verify. So 1 into 5 plus 2 into 8. Okay, this is the first one. Then 1 into 6. Okay, 1 into 6 is what? 1 into 6 plus then 1 into 2 into 9. Okay, then third one, 2 into 7, 1 into 7 plus 2 into 10. So the number of rows should be equal to for the third matrix, the number of rows should be equal to the number of rows in the first matrix, and number of columns in the resultant matrix should be equal to the number of columns in the second matrix. Then only we can perform the operation. Okay. So this is the first matrix, this is the second matrix, and the resultant matrix should be 2 by 3, 2 rows and 3 columns. Then only we can perform the operation. So 2 rows and 3 columns. So here we have 2 by 3. Okay, this is a 2 by 2 matrix, and this is a 2 by 3 matrix. Okay, so 2 by 2, just I will write. So the first array 2 by 2. This is a 2 by 2 matrix, and the second array is what? 2 then by 3. So 2 by 2 and 2 by 3. So this is the first one and this is the second one. So what will be the result? We can omit these two. Okay, we can remove these two, so that you will get, after multiplication, you will get a 2 by 3 matrix. This is a simple concept. So while processing the resultant matrix, what we will do? We will take the number of rows in the first array, and take the number of columns in the second array. This is a concept you have to understand. So the concept is 2 by 2 and 2 by 3. Okay, this is the case. So what we will do? The 2 by 2, then 2 by 3. This is the matrix. This is the form of this matrix, and what we will do, we are not considering these two, we are removing these two, the inner columns and rows. So the resultant matrix should be 2 by 3. Clear? Hope you understand. Okay, you may clear the result, how the resultant matrix format comes. Okay, so once this is confirmed, or once this is clear, then we are moving on to the next process. So the first step is, before collecting these rows and columns for the matrices, we have to confirm that if the number of columns in the first matrix should be equal to the number of rows in the second matrix. Then only, if both the values are same, then only we will collect the values, otherwise it doesn't make any sense. Okay, so if column, okay, so in our program what we will do is, before collecting these values, we will take the number of rows and columns, okay, for the first matrix. After that, what we will do, the number of rows and columns of the second matrix also we will collect. Okay, after that, what we will do, if the number of columns in the first row, number of columns in the first matrix is equal to the number of rows in the second matrix, then we will proceed with the collection of elements in the first matrix and the second matrix. So we are collecting the elements in the first matrix. It's a normal procedure. I don't want to explain again and again the same process. And the second thing, this is the second array. This is for the second array. Okay, we collected the second array also. So this is a first array, this is a second array. Clear? Next, we are going to perform the operation. Okay, how will we perform? So we are going to take the resultant array. So for what's the resultant array matrix? The number of rows and number of columns. Okay, so for I equal to 0, we can write it like this. For I equal to 0, I less than R1, row 1. Okay, then I plus plus. Okay, then the number of columns in the resultant matrix. So we are writing this to loop for saying the values in the resultant matrix. J less than C2. Remember, this is for the resultant matrix, J plus plus. Okay, this to write this program, to write this two statement, I mentioned it like this. I will explain it again. The first matrix size is what? First matrix size is 2 by 3. 2 by 2. First matrix is 2 by 2. Then second matrix is what? 2 by 3. Second matrix is 2 by 3. Okay, we will avoid these two. We can simply take it like this. We are avoiding these two. Okay, so the resultant will be 2 by 3. Okay, so the first the number of rows in the first array into the number of columns in the second array, that will be the resultant matrix. So that is why number of rows in the first array and number of columns in the second array, that will be the resultant matrix. Then the resultant matrix, for example, sum is the resultant matrix. Then we have to initialize the value of this initial one, that is the resultant matrix. The value of initial resultant matrix is equal to 0. Okay, initially we are assigning the value as 0. After that, what we are doing is we are performing the operation. Okay, so sum of ij equal to 0. After that, we are using a third matrix to perform the addition. So what we have to do? We have to perform the addition. 1 into 3, 1 into 5 plus 2 into 8. Okay. Then 1 into 6 plus 2 into 9. Then 1 into 7 plus 2 into 10. So what can you take? What you can take for this? So for k equal to 0, okay, then k less than, you can, because how many times it is executing, that is important thing. How many times this multiplication is taking place. So 1 into 5 plus 2 into 8. So 1 into 5 plus 2 into 8. So how many times this process is executing is based on either the number of columns in the first row or the number of rows in the second one. So you can take either you can take number of columns in the first one, or you can take number of rows in the second one. So I am taking the number of columns. C1. Then k plus plus. Now we are going to write the process like this. Sum of ij equal to sum of ij plus. Okay. Next step is to perform the multiplication. A of I k star b of k j. Very simple. Okay. A of I k, in this case both are 0, I equal to 0, k also 0, into b of k 0 and j also 0. So you will get the first one, a of I0 1 into b of 5, then a of I equal to 0, j equal to 0, a of I 0 0 equal to 1 into b of 0 0, that is 5, plus, okay, we will work it out. Then k is incremented by 1, k value equal to 1, 1 less than column 1. So sum of ij equal to sum of ij, already the ij is what? This one, 5 plus, then 2 into 2, from where you get 2. So a of I value remains the same, a of 0 into k value equal to 1, a of 0 1, a of 0 1 is what? A of 0 1 is 2 into, next b of k j, k equal to 1, k value equal to 1 and j value equal to 0, b of 1 0. So that is the way you are getting 2 into 8. So the resultant value, that is 21, will be saved at where? In the sum value. Okay. Next, now 21 is saved in sum of 0 0. Then k is incremented by 1. So k value is 2. 2 less than column 1. What is column 1? Column 1 value is what? 2. 2 less than 2, condition false. It again goes to the j, increment by 1. So j value equal to 1, and this process continues. So this is the way that we are performing matrix multiplication. Clear? We will discuss this program in detail in the one-to-one class. One-to-one class in the sense that Google Meet class. Okay, thank you.